Okay, we're just a minute more, so if anyone is out there, we're going to just wait one more second to make sure people are on. So, my name is Erin Fall Haskell. I'm here with my father, Dr. Alexander Haskell, who is a naturopath, MD doctor for over 30 years, and I teach Divine Principle, which is dealing with the body, mind, and spirit as well. So our program is called Daily Detoxification. We're doing these Google Hangouts just to have fun and be in conversation and answer questions. So the question that we're answering tonight is, will a detox or cleanse help me with my depression? And this is a great question, I think, because depression, number one, is that stats show that depression by 2020 will be something like the second most disabilitating disease in our culture. We're clearly getting depressed, isolated, lonely. Technology, here we are, is isolating us more and more. We're feeling connected, yet our souls and our spirits are feeling less connected than ever. And so we're just going to have a conversation about what is depression and does a cleanse and detoxification, will that help with that? And we're talking about a cleanse as far as the body, cleansing the body via sauna, juicing, or diet modification, cleansing the mind of all of the complaining and negative thinking and all those things that add up and pile on to your limited beliefs that make you feel like you're the effect of the world. And then spiritually detoxing, meaning we're going to cleanse out the chaos in your life, the clutter, dysfunctional relationships, stuff like that. So, Dad, to begin the question, will a detox or cleanse help with someone's depression?
Well, yes.
Great. Okay, round. That's it, guys.
We had a little bit of conversation before we started the hangout, and just talking about, this label that is so easily put on people's forehead when they're feeling, a little bit down or apathetic or hopeless. And I think it's kind of like a symptom of the body. You have, arthritis, you have fibromyalgia, whatever label may be. Is the body's way of communicating that something needs to be addressed, or some lifestyle needs to shift or change or be modified. And I think in some ways depression is a symptom of the spirit, that the spirit is calling us to whatever it may be for each individual, that we want more in our lives. We want maybe a better relationship, or we want a better job, or we want to make an impact upon the world. And if we feel like we're limited or something's holding us back, then I think it's only right that we go through a phase of questioning and beginning to ask questions about what's the purpose of life, etc. We all go through those times. If we don't get the answers, we might feel a bit apathetic or confused or hopeless. But in terms of the medical approach these days, pretty much is, if lab reports come back normal and you're feeling depressed, then therefore it must be a psychological issue. But there can be many underlying biochemical and hormonal disturbances or imbalances which are seldom investigated, and those could be thyroid hormones, could be adrenal fatigue, it could be even anemia, low red blood cell count, a lack of delivery of oxygen to the brain, food allergies, so many possibilities of why the biochemistry is sort of off or out of balance.
Yeah, I agree. So, and depression, I agree with you as far as that it's, how do you put your finger on depression? I mean, it is the ultimate. We're doing a body, mind, spirit thing, and depression is the ultimate symptom of all three. You just can't deal with one without the other. And of course, look, we all feel better if we get out and get physical and detox our body and clear it out of all the crap and have more energy. Obviously, you're going to feel a little bit better. But if you don't deal with what's going on, if say you're in a dead-end job and you're just depressed, you're not having your expression, or you're isolating more and more, and you're not, in a good community or whatever it is. Obviously, we have to deal with the triune of all of it, the body, mind, spirit. But I can agree with you. And so you're saying that whether it may be a thyroid issue or any of those labels as far as health issues, how would detoxing, explain to them how detoxing and cleansing helps with any of those type of labels.
Sure. And again, just what you said before, had a thought on that, is there is no blood test for depression. So the idea then is that if there is various biochemical hormonal imbalances, blood sugar being another huge one as far as mood swings and depression, if we are able, and often those issues, those biochemical hormonal issues, are because the cells that regulate chemistry or produce hormones, those cells are nutrient deficient. So first of all, just doing nutrient-dense foods or juices will flood these cells and provide the nutrients they require to function more optimally. And also, we know for sure in the research there are many environmental causes of depression. Probably one of the foremost would be our exposure to pesticides and herbicides. This is showing up in the research now these days, but there's also many other ones. I'd say the one I come across most with people is environmental molds within their home. And most of the time people are thinking environmental toxins, these are things outside the home, on spraying of lawns or the chemicals from combustion engines and from factories, and these are certainly an issue. But inside the home, considering we keep our windows closed in the winters and summers for air conditioning, we're recycling these chemicals within our home. They don't have a chance to leave the home. So it's really important people, at least at night, try to keep a window open when they're sleeping, or open their doors and windows during the day when the weather permits. These are all ways to reduce our exposure of these toxins which we're breathing, toxins which we're putting on our skin through different types of lotions and creams and cosmetics, things that we're eating, etc. All these are the entryways, the ports through which these environmental toxins enter our body. Once they're in there, the body tries to excrete them, but a lot of these residues get stuck in tissue. So the idea with juice fasting or the juice cleanse is that we're helping the body to detoxify and get these residues out of our tissue, so our biochemistry begins to shift into kind of the spectrum of a better mood, basically.
Yeah, and depression, I mean, I think it's one of those topics that you kind of have to delayer so many things off of it. If you are feeling like, everything's great in my life, I don't know why I don't feel, why do I feel depressed? Then maybe it could be something actually physically. But obviously, if you think about, if you won the lottery right now, if someone's depressed and they hear they won the lottery, would they be jumping out of bed of joy? So that might mean that you might have something going on that you need to deal with in your psyche as far as getting your life in order to where you love your life, right? But regardless of it, obviously, the answer, for sure, is that any kind of detox and cleanse is going to help any kind of level of depression. But dealing with the mind, I think, is the most important thing when it comes to depression, because let's face it, when we love what we're doing in our life, it's easier to run around and grab good food and feel high energy when we're just in a good state of mind. So it is about delayering off of everything that is going on. Maybe it's the limited beliefs. Maybe you think you can only make money certain ways and you put yourself in a job that is limited for you. Maybe it's, relationships. Maybe you have so much, trauma and things around it that you no longer can even be in relationship. And so you're getting more and more depressed because you're getting more and more isolated and finding things wrong with relationships, whatever that is. So dealing with all layers, there's just no question. So this is a different program. It's not just a body detox. I think this is what is setting apart, and knowing that this is about you guys putting your wealth, your health, and your vitality all back in your hands. So I think we answered it. Dad, what do you think?
Yeah, I think sometimes, when you're in that depressed mood, you're not really in a very creative state, and it's difficult to find new habits or new ways, or little things can make a big difference. And one thing I've tried to help people that do have low energy or depression is that getting in touch with intuition and their instincts is very important. And I ask a very simple question often of them, and that is, what is your in terms of food, what is your body craving? What does it tend to go to when you're feeling depressed? What does it need? And it can be something like, well, I crave sugar, which is probably not the best thing to be eating if you're feeling depressed. But maybe that might mean there's a sugar imbalance. I say, well, what other foods? Okay, so they might say a certain types of foods, and I say, how about eating only one food at a meal? Simplify your life. Just eat one food and see how you feel. Because sometimes when you're depressed, your digestive system doesn't work. Your appetite is a little bit wacky. It's a little bit off. But trying to focus on just one food at a time and seeing what happens to your energy. And a person might say, yeah, I tried that, and I had just a couple of eggs, and I actually felt better. I felt a little bit lighter. Because sometimes when you have eggs or protein and some starch or carbohydrates and a glass of milk, it's just too much sometimes when you're not feeling well. So simplifying the diet, one food at a time, or a glass of low glycemic juice in the morning, just that alone, and wait for a half an hour to an hour and see how the person feels. Simplification is really important when you're feeling depressed or not well mentally.
Your life. I mean, I think that if you're depressed, making sure you go to sleep the same time every night, making sure that you're eating consistently at certain times, making sure that you're getting out and getting some exercise, simplifying it, bringing it back to the basics helps so much.
Even sunlight, just spending 20 minutes in the sun, just absorbing that sunlight and just relaxing your whole body, and even vitamin D. I mean, people don't realize that being out in the sun, if it's not too hot or whatever, being out in the sun for probably about an hour a day for about a week or two will restore your vitamin D levels. This is really, really an important hormone, the vitamin D, for feeling better. So simple things like that. No creams on your skin. Let the sunlight, those photons enter into the body. It's amazing sometimes. Something as simple as that.
Nice. Well, beautiful. Well, and I can imagine, I've seen so many people go through real cleanses and feel like $1 million on the backside of a cleanse. It's amazing how much stuck energy. And when you're doing the stuck energy, it's all about getting in flow with the universe. So our bodies need to get in flow, and our minds need to get in flow, and our whole life needs to get in flow. So getting out of the house always helps, because you get too introverted in your thinking, and you begin to get sadder and sadder and sadder. So you get out, even just looking at things, taking a walk, going to a public place where you can see people, and getting outside of yourself. It's amazing what it can do for your energy to flow.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, good. Well, please, you guys, ask more questions, make comments below. We are going to be answering these questions multiple times throughout the week, but we're doing every Tuesday night for sure. We want to build consistent content. So we'd love to have you join. And our website's dailydetoxification.com. We have an educational program there. You're welcome to email us also if you're looking for any one-on-one type of major cleanses. My father, of course, does blood work and all kinds of things. So, again, get in touch with your intuition. Talk to your regular doctor. Make sure you're ready for a detox. But it's time for you to take your health back in your own home. Your own home and your own hands. So, I think that's it, Dad. Yeah?
I think. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Have a great evening, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao.